So first of all, thank you so very much for accepting the invitation this live. We're honored to have you on board. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and it's such a pleasure. Like, I can't wait to share all my information about the pageant journey and everything I've been up to. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We received so many questions for our live because you are a heavy favorite to win this year's title of Miss World. You're a front runner to win Miss World. And my very first question is going to be the same. How does it feel when you're receiving so much of love from all around the world as Miss World Island?
For me, honestly, still to this day, it's so crazy for me to receive so much support internationally from so many amazing people.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about myself, I think Ireland is such a small country, but we have so much to give, and we're just a tiny island in the scope of the whole realm of the world. So the fact that, so many pageant people all over the world are supporting us it's blowing me away at the moment. Yeah, it's
You receive,
amazing.
you deserve all the love. You're doing an amazing job at Miss World Island. And you're also one of my personal favorites to win. So yeah, you are incredible.
You're so sweet. Thank you so, so much. And look, I'd be so honoured to bring home the crown for Ireland. It's been my long life dream since the age of 17. I'm sure just as much as every other young girl who steps on the stage
Yeah.
this year. But I'm still, as you just said, I'm so blown away by the international support that Ireland has gotten. Because for me, I'm still, I'm just a normal Irish girl in a small little country with less, we have 4 million people here, and to have support from all over the world is so amazing. And we really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. And you just said that you are a normal Irish girl, but I think soon you will say this thing that that normal Irish girl is Miss World 2025.
Imagine. You know what they say, you must dream big in life. I always say,
Yeah,
if someone else can do it, why can't you? But it would be the biggest dream of mine to become Miss World. And I'm sure, as I said, it's every other girl's dream that steps onto that international stage. But let's see how it goes. I'm so proud of how far I've come in my journey and all
yeah,
I've done for my country and what my country has done for me, and the support. Again, I've received internationally. It's like it blows me away because it's so crazy, that people on the other side of the world know who I am, want to support my journey, advocate for, like, they cheer for me. They're in my corner, and
yeah,
there's something so special about that. Really, really, I mean that in so many different ways.
yeah. It is. And because you're representing your beautiful country on the biggest stage of the pageantry, like that is Miss World, and it comes up with lots of responsibilities, lots of pressure. So how are you dealing with both the things? Because you're responsible to represent your country, but at the same time, it is a very hard job to do because whatever you do, whatever you speak, it is going to be judged because you're the representative of your country. So how are you dealing with both the things?
Definitely, and there is a lot of pressure, I guess, on every single miss that enters a stage in their country. But I think being your authentic self is the best type of approach you can go for that, and just being who
Yeah,
you are, and showcasing your values and what you stand for and your advocacies. You can never really go too wrong with that. It's more about being who you are rather than being a perception of what the international pageant wants, and I think, yeah, that's how I go about it anyway. I hope it I always think it's important that your authentic self must shine through.
yeah.
Definitely.
That is very important, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's very important to be your real self, and you are doing an amazing job in that. So kudos to you for that. We received so many questions for our live, and all the questions are regarding your journey as Miss World Ireland. Like, how did you enter pageantry, and what's your advocacy, what's your BWAP, and what are you expecting from Miss World 2025? So the very first question is, what was your reaction when you got to know that India is hosting Miss World again, back to back?
I was so happy. I'm not gonna lie. I did charity work in India in March. I'm an ambassador for the Hope Foundation. They are an Irish charity that do all their work in Calcutta.
Yeah,
They've been operating now for 26 years, and I was so proud when I got crowned that I became their ambassador. They brought me to Calcutta in March, and I was so blown away. Um, I have a lot of like amazing Indian friends, and I know a lot about Indian culture, but to actually go to India was one of my biggest dreams. So in March when I went, it was just spectacular. I had 8 days of so many fun events, and the Indian people are the most amazing people, genuinely, that I've met in such a long time. They are so loving and caring and so rich in culture. They're amazing. I always said my trip to Calcutta taught me that the people who have the least in life are genuinely the happiest. And that was the perception I got from the Indian people, all of them that I met there. The women, the children, the men. It was just such an amazing experience. So when I heard that we were when Miss World was hosted again in India, I thought, oh my God, I can't wait to go back. I'm so excited. I truly am. And I can't wait to see this part of India because I've only obviously been to Calcutta. So I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to going somewhere else. What do you think? Have you ever been to this part? Telanga?
No. Yeah.
No.
I have never been to Telangana. So yeah, I visited the southern part in November for Miss Asia Global. We attended the show, but the Telangana specifically, I have not visited. As an Indian, I have also not visited. So it is going to be my first time as well in that city. And I was actually very excited when I got to know that India is hosting Miss World again because last year when it was Mumbai, the last year's edition of Miss World, I had the opportunity to attend the show, the finals of Miss World,
Nice.
and
Well, I hope you're
I mean
there
like
this year. You better be there this year.
yeah, I'm going to try my best to be there. Like that's why I was so excited because last year I had a blast. Like literally, I had a blast. I met all the Miss World contestants. I also met Julia Morley. Like I was literally standing in front of her. So it was just like here Julia Morley and here me, and I was literally shaking.
But you
So
deserve
it
to
was a
be there.
fabulous
And
experience.
even the fact that you take your time, as I said, you deserve to be there. You take your time to interview us all and for the international platform to get to know who we are as individuals. It's a really amazing thing because without people like you, a lot of people probably wouldn't know like what we advocate for. Okay, through social media, you can get so much, I guess. But when you
Yeah,
talk to someone, you get a much more engaging conversation. So thank you.
it,
You make it all
it's our
happen.
pleasure. It's our pleasure. And I will try my level best to be there for this edition of Miss World. And I'm going to bring so many things for you all. Like we are planning so many things for all of the contestants, be it the Indian sweet dishes, be it the hospitality, the cultural aspect of India for you all. So whenever you are going to go back to your country, you will remember that you visited India for Miss World.
100%. I feel like it's going to be an unforgettable experience. I mean, there's so many amazing countries all over the world, but as I said, when I
Yeah,
went to India in March, like India's so rich in culture. Obviously, as well, it's Holy Week now, and you can see like the creativity, the design, the culture, the heritage that goes into it. It's like
yeah,
unexplainable. And for us to be part of it, I think there's no better place for Miss World. I might be biased than India to be held. It's an absolutely amazing experience that we're going to be on, and we're all literally all of us are so grateful that it's there. So we're so excited.
so am I. So let's wait for the best for the edition of Miss World, and we can't wait to make it happen. So we have the next question for you, and it's regarding your the advocacy Beauty with a Purpose project. We all know this thing that there is no Miss World without BWAP. BWAP is the core of Miss World. So would you like
Yeah.
to elaborate about your BWAP to everyone?
Yeah, 100%. And I love that about Miss World, though. It's not just about, representing
Yeah,
the outer side of who you are, but also the inner. And that's so important
yeah,
as well in life. My beauty to purpose has to do with education and literacy. And it's a two-part mission that I have integrated literacy kits into schools in Africa. I've built schools in Cape Town with the Mellon Charity and literacy hubs. I first actually got the idea a while back because I was the first person in my family to ever go to college. And education is something that is the root of who I am. And it's so important. And as Nelson Mandela said, it is, the tool to change. Education is the most powerful weapon in the world. And it
yeah,
truly is, especially literacy. And I created a box called Dream in a Box, which has my own book that I wrote called Sunny and the Safe Harbor, and different items in the box to create your own story and also enhance your literacy rates. So while you're creating, that imaginary, like the imaginary side of it, well, maybe the characters in your book or the chapters in your book or where you want the story to
yeah.
go, you're also improving how you learn to read and write. And that's my beauty with a purpose. I've been working on that for over 10 years. Since I'm 17, that's when I first entered into pageantry. And it's something I hope to develop much, much larger. With or without the Miss World title. I mean, hopefully with, that would be such an honor for me and my country. But it's something that I have so much passion for. I love it. I want to integrate it. I have integrated it, and it's just done so much for the children who are involved. And yeah, it's only going to get bigger, I hope.
It will surely, and it's an amazing project. I mean, like, for me also, education is very important, and you are doing an amazing job on that aspect. And I do think that this project will go very far in the competition, like, or might win the BWAP title.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, when I was in Calcutta, Um, the founder of the charity, the Hope Foundation, Maureen Forrest, she is 80. 3 years old, I think. Maureen, if you're watching and you're not 83, I'm sorry. But she's in her 80s. And she has created education for over 3 million children in Calcutta. And it's only when you're on the ground in these places that you really see what these charities do. I mean, people can be ambassadors, over a portal of an online substance, but when you go on the ground and you see the work that these charities do and the individuals that it really influences, it's
Yeah,
unimaginable. When I was there, I was in a crash, and the children were so sweet. They were only 3 and 4, and they made a crown for me out of paper. And I remember I walked outside the crash, and there was 3 or 4 older girls there standing there, and they asked, "Oh, like, can we get a picture or something like this?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And we had a conversation, and they said, like, we actually started here in this crash something like 15 years ago, and we've made it all the way up to third level education. So they started in the crash with no education, because what happens in Calcutta, I'm sure you know, obviously being from India and everywhere, probably in a lot of places in India, not
yeah,
just Calcutta, what was happening was a lot of the women and the men were going off to work in the landfills. So they would bring the children with them to earn an income. So the Hope Foundation allowed them to drop their child off at a crash where they were fed, they were educated, while they went and worked and brought in some type of income.
mhm,
So education is the cycle to break poverty. And as I was saying, sorry, I kind of reverted from the story. All those girls have now made it to third level education, where they now support their mothers and fathers who worked in those landfills and have transformed their whole family.
yeah,
And to see that, it's so powerful. I can't explain it. Like, I get very emotional about it, because I'm like, it's crazy how people think that one person can't change the world. One person can definitely change the world. If you take every single individual title that we have, Miss Ireland, Miss England, Miss Netherlands, Miss Germany, each one of us have created change for somebody in this world. And that is the first step
exactly.
to make big things happen in life. And that's also a very important message. If any young people are watching this, you know, don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't create change, because of course you can. If we can, why can't you? As I said at the start.
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And when you were saying about it, so I could actually see the pride on your face and how close this thing is to your heart. And that is the beauty of an upcoming Miss World. When you are ready to serve to the people, when you're ready to serve to society, and I do feel that we all should, if we have a platform, if we have a voice, if we have a passion and dedication to work for the society, we all should, because everyone is not that grateful, everyone is not that filled with resources. So if you have resources, we should use those resources to uplift others as well. And you're doing an
Yeah.
amazing job in it, so kudos to you for that.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. And you know what you just said is so true, because I think a lot of people, they doubt themselves sometimes, in the sense that they think, oh, why would people listen to me, etc. But every single, I mean, when I went to Calcutta, I came back and I thought to myself, I am so grateful to have a roof over my head. I am so grateful to have food on my plate. I am so grateful that I have a family who love me, because so many people in this world don't. And that's why I think it's so
Exactly.
important to emphasize the fact, that we're so lucky in life. And if we're in a position to give back and to use our voices to help other people, it should be at the top of our list.
Yeah, that's so true. And like people are really admiring your answer and the emojis that they're sending in this live. And that's so true. Like I mean, like it is very important to realize this thing that we should be grateful for whatever we have in our life. We might not be the richest person in our society, but we are having a roof, we are having clothes to put on, we have food, we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and all those things. So we should be lucky. But because most of the people or millions of people in this world, they don't have food to eat. And that is the biggest lesson that we all can learn, that we should be grateful for the things that we have in our life. So kudos to you for that.
I think definitely, and that's why I have to say, volunteer programs for very young people, like the Hope Foundation offer a volunteer program, and so does the other charity I work for, the Melon Educate, for kids in TY. So TY is a year in Ireland where they separate from big exams, and they're about 14, 15, and they go to these countries and they do volunteer work. They have to fundraise first and then they go. And I think it's probably the most beneficial thing you will ever do, especially coming from, and luckily, a first world country that we do come from, to go and see how people live in other sides of the world, and how lucky we are, and how you can use who you are to help them. And that is the most important, I think, thing in life, because at the end of the day, we are all one, and one should help everything. Everything in life, there's a reason things happen in life, and there's a reason I feel like volunteer programs are effective. And it's because they see things they don't see where we live. And that ignites a spark in them to do change as well, especially from a young age. And that's the most
Yeah,
important thing.
that's
Yeah.
that's so true.
Mm.
And you are inspiring me a lot in terms of working for the social causes, because I have also my own advocacy, that is the mental health space. And because I was also in that zone years back when I was in depression, suffering from anxiety and panic attacks and all those things. When I overcame that, so I got to know that people around me, my friends, my colleague, my friend circle, they are also suffering from that thing. And I still remember one day, one of my friends, college friends, she called me and she was like, I need help. And because I'm having suicidal tendencies in my mind. And it was the pandemic time. So because of course, we couldn't go outside because it was COVID. So we were just chatting and talking on call. And I still remember that day because I talked with her for 2 hours on call. I was just continuously, I was just saying to her that it is okay, everything is going to be normal. It is normal to have anxiety and all those things. And at the end, next day, she messaged me and she was like, "You saved my life," because I was having suicidal tendencies. And that day, I realized this thing that if you have time, if you have resources, if you have that experience of something, you should share that because that experience can actually be a life-saving thing for someone else. And I think you are doing the same thing, so kudos to you for that.
But you're amazing too. Like that's, you know what? There's a saying in life, like, it's crazy how your time can help somebody else so much. And people don't understand that, even just with, especially with mental health, even just being someone you can call and, have a chat with and say, you're going to get through this, you're okay, or come over and have a cup of tea, as we say in Ireland, or, I'm here, I'm a shoulder to cry on. It means a lot for people who are going through a lot. And I always think in life, we're too hard on each other. And everyone goes through their struggles in life, and we should be there more for each other than people
Yeah,
think. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and we all go through struggles, we all go through sadness, we all go through hardship, we go through highs and low on a daily basis. So for
yeah,
you to be a friend or a family member or someone you can turn to, sometimes with mental health, people think, oh, my problems, I don't want to put them onto someone else. But the people you love and the people around you are the people who care the most about you. And they are
yeah.
more than happy to hear, anything you have to say, let alone if it's bad news, good news. They want to comfort you just as much as you want the comfort. And that's amazing as well what you did, because you've no idea how many people's, one phone call could literally change someone's complete life.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful. But you're a
I
very
mean, like,
good person, I can tell.
that I learned one very important thing that if I'm getting a call, if I'm getting a message from my friend or someone whom I know, I will always reply that call and pick that call because earlier I was in a habit of not picking the calls, not replying the message. But after that, I keep on always replying and picking up the calls because we never know that what that person might be going through if he or she is calling me. So yeah, I mean, like I
Exactly.
learned that experience after that.
There's a quote in life that I love, and it says, I hope I don't kill this quote, but be kind to everyone. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And
Yeah,
it's true. You never know what people are going through or what their struggles are in life. So it's better to go out into life with a good kind of perception and be the nicest person you can be. As God always says, be nice to your neighbors. And
yeah,
it's true.
it's so okay. And like, I mean, kudos to you for your video play. It's an amazing project. And we hope that this project will go very far in the competition. And
I hope
we
so.
have next question for you. And this question is a bit funny, and I think it will lighten up the mood. So the question is, what are your hobbies? And if yes, so did you have any kind of funny incident while performing those hobbies? For example, I have said this thing multiple times that I love cooking, but when I was learning and in the initial days, I made so many disasters in the kitchen that I was banned from for 2 weeks from the kitchen of my house. So
Look,
did you
I mean,
have same
if you don't make a
experience?
mess in the kitchen, I mean, are you even a good cook? I don't know how bad it was, but it must have been bad for a 2 week ban, huh?
It was, I mean, like there were two instances. Once I was baking, once I was just cooking normal Indian cuisine. So in the terms of baking, I put excessive sugar. So like we all were hoping that it would be a cake at the end, but because it was too much of sugar in that, so that cake turned out to be a soup at the end. It got melted.
Look, I love cooking. So if I'm in India and we get to meet up, I promise you I will teach you how to make a good cake.
Surely.
So
And
it's
now I
faster.
can cook very well. Now
Yeah,
I can cook very well. So last year I offered homemade Indian laddus to Miss World Finland and Miss World Canada when we met in Delhi. So yeah, they
amazing.
it.
I love cooking. I love a chicken tikka masala
Oh my
or
God.
korma or pastrami rice. They're my favorites. I actually really love Indian food. If I was to ever, most of the time when I go for a takeout here in Ireland, I always go for the Indian. It's called Jaipur.
You
It's
will love
delicious.
it. You will love it. You will love it in India. Like in Telangana, basically, we have the one of the most special thing that is Hyderabadi biryani. I think you will love
Yeah.
it.
Is it onions?
I mean, like it's also full of onions. It's like lots of things together. Um, Basically, the spices of the southern India is there. So it's like spicy at the same time, but it is very delicious. I mean, like I'm still having the experience of my life when I had it for the very first time. I think ate 1 kg of Hyderabadi biryani alone.
Look, once you're enjoying, I'm not here to criticize. But my
Yeah,
hobbies, as I said though, I love to cook. My family are
yeah,
in the hospitality industry, so we have restaurants and we have cooked for so many years. One of my favorite things to do is sit down with my family and have a meal. I love to cook for my family. I love when we all get together and cook. My mom has 7 brothers and sisters, so we have a huge family,
yeah.
and that's one of our favorite things to do. Um, but apart from that, I play piano. I've played piano since I was 4 years old, and I absolutely adore music. I love to sing. Um, I play guitar. I just started guitar about a year and a half ago, but I have to say it's coming on. It's not the worst. I'm getting the hang of it. But most of my interests come from crazy activities like skiing. I've skied since I'm 5 years old. I love to ski. I board dived for the Irish diving team up until I was 15 years old. I used to train 6 days a week, twice a day. So that was my focus for a long period of my life. I love to run. I love to hike. So many different things. To be honest, I love to do a lot of things. And also, I'm half German, so I do love languages.
Yeah.
I speak a bit of German and poquito español. I went to university in Spain, did my master's in human rights and European Union law. So, yeah, I guess I'm a bit of an all rounder. I love everything, to be honest, adventurous in life. I love to swim as well. Water. I'm Aquarius, so I love the water.
So I can say this thing that if you win Miss World this year, so we are gonna have an all-rounder Miss World who
If,
can do anything and
uh,
everything.
if God grants me that wish, I hope so.
You will surely
Definitely.
get the reward of your hard work. So we can't wait to see that thing happening. So we have next question for you, and it's regarding your preparations for Miss World. We all know this thing that Miss World is a very competitive pageant. I mean, like women from all around the world, the best women from their countries are representing their countries. So how's the preparation going for different rounds at Miss World? I mean, the sports round, the national costume, the evening gown, and all those rounds.
Well, I'm so lucky to say I have my evening gown, which is amazing because that's like one less stress on my head. It's not the easiest thing to do. I felt like picking, if I ever get married one day, I feel like picking my wedding dress might be easier. Picking the dress for Miss
Yeah.
World was a very difficult thing, but I'm so happy with it and I love it. And that's the most important thing, that I feel comfortable in it. My national costume, I'm really happy with as well. It obviously represents Ireland and our traditions and our culture, and that is so important to me. I love this country. I was born here. I was raised here. I love everything about it. I mean, even today, I was in a part of Ireland where there's lots of mountains, and we had such nice weather. And I turned around to my family, and I was like, "This is the best place ever. It's so gorgeous, and we have such a nice, heritage and scenery." Especially when we have sunshine, which we don't get that often. But when we do have it, it's a beautiful place. And other than that, to be honest, I think mentally preparing, as I said, I've started this journey with pageantry since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I think I've gotten to a stage now where I'm 27, it's 10 years on. And I feel like whatever happens in life, there's an Arabic saying that says maktub, which is your fate is written. So I can only put my best foot forward and hope to
Yeah.
God that all the work I've put in will lead me to a certain place. But even not, I am really proud of how far I've come. And as I said, it's up to the gods what happens next. But I would be honoured, and I am honoured to represent Ireland on the global stage and see maybe perhaps what we can do. If we're fortunate enough to win Miss World, what an honour. But even just standing there representing my country and all that I stand for and my heritage and my culture is already so much for me.
That's going to be amazing, and I have to give that credit to you and all the contestants who are participating in this edition of Miss World. because we all see the things that is in front of the camera, but it is very hard to do the things behind the camera. You're representing a beautiful country, lots of pressure is there, preparations are going to be there, you have to train for certain different rounds, and of course you are under pressure to give the best for representing your country. So many a times, and I think all the times, we all forget to give the credits to you all, that you all are doing an amazing job,
Mm.
and whatever destiny has to offer, it will happen. But it is very important to all, let you know that you're doing an amazing job and keep on doing that.
Thank you so much. And I just realized, well, it's not I just realized, but the other day I was looking at every single girl and individual that they're literally changing legislation, policy, regimes. They're implementing programs that are making massive changes in their country. And that's where my point of, one person can change anything stems from. That is a clear representation of how one person can change so much in their country.
Yeah,
And they're pushing so hard. And these are future leaders. I mean, even look at Miss Botswana from last year, like where she's ended up now. And that is what Miss World is about. It's not about just, showcasing beauty and anything like that. A lot of people have that perception. It's about beauty with a purpose. It's about how can you impact as a title holder an individual or a community, and how can it last? And every
yeah,
single girl I've watched over the last few weeks, like it's impeccable what they've done. I mean, Miss Botswana has gone on to be a minister. How
yeah,
amazing is that? And that's all through pageantry and what it has given to her. It's given her the platform, it's given her the confidence, it's given her the voice, it's
yeah.
given her everything, really, to be honest, to who she has become. And she's an amazing woman, and I wish her all the best. And that's what I love about pageantry. It opens so many doors that people don't think are accessible.
Exactly. And I was about to say her name, Miss Well Botswana from last year, when you were explaining, giving the answer, because I had my honor to interview her last year before Miss World, and that was my first, I think, second interview with Miss World Queens from last year. So when I was doing an interview with her, and during the live, she said one absolutely stunning thing. She said this thing to me when I asked her this question, that what do you think about Miss World if you win or not? I asked this question to her, and she replied a very beautiful answer. She said me this thing that you know I know whatever I can do, I will do that. Destiny has to offer that thing. It will happen. I can't change it. I will give my best. I will give my blood and sweat till the time I will win Miss World. But if it is not destined to happen in my life, I will still become the change in my country. I will still be the source of change in my country. And see, now
That's
she is the youngest. Now she's the youngest member of parliament from her country.
But that is exactly what she's done, and that is what a powerful woman in pageantry can do. And that, to
Yeah,
me, like when I seen that, I just thought that's exactly how I perceive this platform. It's a platform of innovation. It's a platform of advocacy. It's a platform of power. It's a platform to get into parliament. That is your platform, as you said, like Miss World. To win the crown is the biggest honor, I think, in, in life. Obviously, being someone who's involved in pageants and being Miss Ireland, but
mhm,
your destiny, it goes beyond that if it's not the case. And she's a perfect example of that. Look at what she's achieved. As you said, the youngest minister in Botswana, like amazing. Who can
it's
say that?
amazing. It's amazing. You
What a
know, I
flex.
I was literally like I was literally proud of her so much when she was elected as the youngest MP. And I was looking at my life with her last year. I was like, how much time can change one's life? So I can proudly say this thing now, that I had the honor to interview the youngest MP of Botswana.
Yeah, and exactly. It's all she's a very driven, ambitious, intelligent woman. And she deserves her place in that parliament just as much as any other man or woman on there. Being the youngest or the oldest, she really does. She's absolutely amazing. And I
Yeah,
always loved, everything she stood for. When I watched her last year, I thought she was such a powerhouse. And I said she's gonna go very far. And look, she has.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing. Talking about pageantry, so have you talked to your fellow contestants and have you made some best friends from your batch?
I have. So I have met in person Miss Philippines, Krishna. She's such a gorgeous girl inside and out. She's stunning. I met her when I was in Manila, and I just love her. So it's actually really nice to have people that you meet before you go, because it's a daunting
Yeah.
competition. I think there's like 90 of us so far in pageant, and to go there not knowing anyone, or we live in a time where you pick up your phone and if you can message someone and say, hey, what are you wearing today? And she tells you, it gives you some type of, comfort. But And I also met Miss England. I went to the Miss England pageant last year, and she's a gorgeous girl, and she's her beauty to purpose is amazing. I love it. It's all about CPR and stunning girl. I
Yeah.
also met Miss Zimbabwe because I lived in Zimbabwe for 5 months or so, and I hope after the pageant as well. I'd love to return there someday. That place holds a very special place in my heart. And Courtney, Miss Zimbabwe, she's an amazing girl as well. I feel really privileged though to meet all these girls because, you know, from afar away you see the work they're doing, but when you're on the ground and you see actually what they're doing, it's actually
Yeah.
mind blowing. I feel like there should be a documentary on women who get things done because it's
Yeah.
pageant women, you know. But yeah, so I've met 3 or 4 of the girls, and I talked to some girls over social media. But I'm really looking forward to going and to meeting all the girls. And I have a very bubbly personality, so I have a feeling that if I ever get married one day, I'm gonna have a lot of bridesmaids from Miss World.
That is gonna be amazing.
A whole country full of them.
That
Yeah,
is
I
gonna
feel like,
be amazing.
meeting girls there, at the end of the day, we're all very similar in the sense that
Yeah.
we are women who are pushing for change, and that links us without linking us in any other way. So that's a very powerful um, feeling, I guess, when you have, all of those girls around you. And I just honestly, I really can't wait to meet them because I'm so excited, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like, even I'm so excited. You are participating as a contestant, but me as a viewer watching it again, and of course to meet you all in person. So as of now, I have interviewed 15 contestants from this year's batch of Miss World. I would say 15 queens from this year's batch of Miss World. You are the 16th one. So looking at the batch, looking at the legacy, I have to say this thing that this year's edition of Miss World is going to be a most competitive year because you all are so amazing. I mean, like literally so amazing in terms of advocacy, in terms of speaking, in terms of other rounds. I have to say this thing that it's going to be incredible.
I think so. I think this year in Miss World, there's a lot of just go getters, and I think a massive part of it as well. They're not all. I mean, obviously, it is competition at the end of the day, but I feel like
Yeah,
we're fighting for much more than the crown. We're fighting for what we want to change in our countries, what we've implemented into other countries, and way more than
mm,
what normally
yeah,
comes in Miss World. And no, that's just my perception. But Julia Morley has amazingly created a platform where we can advocate for this, and this is what the
exactly.
platform has become. Look how powerful it is. And again, Miss Swan is a prime example of that. I mean, this platform has put her into Parliament. She will now
Yeah,
continue to change legislation, policy, and generational, you know, government strategies forever. And you can't get a more powerful type of implementation than that.
that's so true. And I'm getting those vibes from you as well because last year I think I decided to just let's say go Jumbo, Miss Botswana, that people were really underestimating her because Botswana is not a powerhouse country in pageantry. But I was keep on fighting with other pageant pages that don't underestimate Botswana because I mean, like, she's gonna just ace it. And I'm getting those let's say go Jumbo vibes from you as well because with the compassion that she was giving answers last year, you are having that same compassion and same empathy and same, I would say, it's very close to your heart and you're very passionate about it. So that is the best thing that I can see in you, or hopefully in the next Miss World.
Oh, thank you so much. Everything I've done means the world to me. I can't explain. I've been to 4 or 5 countries in my reign, and they have all changed who I am as a person. And all I want to do, and all I was meant to do in this world, is make those people's lives better. And I hope that regardless of Miss World with a crown or not, that I can do that in my life because that is what I genuinely was born to do. And I hope, with the crown, as I said, or without, that when I come back and maybe I speak to you next year, that I've done something like what Miss Wana has done, or what Miss World has done, and I just want to keep pushing that because, as I said, I think it's so important to send this home that you as an individual can make serious impact in life, and don't ever let
Yeah,
anyone tell you that you can't. Maybe you don't come from, as you said, a powerhouse pageant country or anything like that, but if you have a voice and you're able to amplify it, please do use it because it genuinely makes a massive difference in so
yeah,
many people's lives that you have no idea about. And that's who I am, and that's who I will be till the day I die. And I just hope that I can implement my policies, my projects, and give people who don't have anything a chance I was given. And that's what I really want.
That's amazing to hear and listen, and you will surely do amazing things in life. So yeah, moving on to the next question. So we have shortlisted two pageant party questions out of the all questions that we received. So the first question is, who's your favorite Miss World winner as of now? I know it's gonna be very tough to pick one.
It's very difficult. Um, I have to say, I love our own Miss World, Rosanna Davison. She won in 2023, and she is such a gorgeous individual. Another Miss World I love is Roneen Strauss. I have
Yeah,
done coaching with Roneen Strauss a few years ago, and I remember taking up her program, and I just think she is the epitome of elegance.
yeah.
She is a powerhouse. She's a mother. She's a doctor. She's everything I aspire to be in life. And she just embodies a Miss World, and I really do love her a lot. So yeah, they would be my top two. I also love Miss Jamaica. She was stunning, such a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful Miss World. So is Christina, our current queen. I mean, she is such a supermodel. If we
Yeah.
don't see her on the Victoria's Secret catwalk show, I mean, I don't know where their taste has gone, but she deserves to have a place up there. She is stunning, and I loved her advocacy in Tanzania. About how she just kind of happened to fall upon um, these kids, and what she did to build the school and to create that
Yeah.
educational program. It's very authentic and real, and she just is a very gorgeous Miss World, and you can tell that she also seeps empathy.
Amazingly choice. And for me, it's very hard to choose one or even two because from India itself, we have six Miss World winners, so I can't choose two out of them.
Do you know
And
what's so
outside India,
crazy?
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you know what's so crazy? I heard that there was a Miss India here in Ireland. She lives here, and she was crowned Miss World in 1969, and she was the first Miss India to win Miss World, and she lives in Ireland.
I mean, like that's amazing. That's why I'm saying that from India itself, we have six Miss World winners, and I love our reigning Miss World. She's amazing. Last year when I met her after she won Miss World, she was so sweet. I mean, like literally, she was so sweet. I was actually asking for a picture, with her and the crown, and I thought that now she has won, so she might be busy in the interviews and all those things, but still she gave the picture to me. So that was the sweetest part about her.
But that's the most important thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a crown, but it's still you, and you
Yeah,
wear the crown. So the crown doesn't win you, you win the crown. So a crown shouldn't, change any type of traits that you have. But she seems like a gorgeous, gorgeous girl, and she seems like a very humble girl, which is very nice to
she
see. And
is.
she's so stunning. She really, really is. She's a beautiful girl.
It's so amazing, literally so amazing. So
Yeah.
we have the second last question for you, and it's a very important question, I do feel. The question is, which living man or woman you admire the most and why?
Hard question. Let me think. I absolutely adore Amal Clooney. She is George Clooney's wife, but she's
Yeah,
not just George Clooney's wife. She's a human rights lawyer. She
yeah,
has created so much change in the world. She's gone into negotiations with, Syrian war criminals. She's worked in The Hague, in the biggest criminal courts in the world. She's gone into mergers with, Taliban to try and create peace. I would love to meet that woman and just ask her, how do you do all of these things and how did it start? Because you are inspirational. And she is also such a humble person. You don't really hear too much about what she does in the media, but
mhm.
if you look into her and what she has actually accomplished in her life silently, it is just impeccable. And that is someone I'd love to follow in her footsteps and be exactly like someone like that in my future years.
That's an amazing choice, and of course, we have so many women in our world that they are doing an amazing job in terms of human rights advocacy and in terms of their personal life as well. So amazing answer. And if I'm supposed to choose an answer to this question, I would say my mom. I mean, like. I'm the closest to her, and I can probably say this thing that I'm a mama's boy. And my father, my sisters, they always say this thing that you're very partial towards your mom because you love her more. And I was always like, yes, I love her more because I'm mama's boy.
You know what? I can't blame you. I absolutely adore my mom as well, and my little brother as well. He is definitely a mommy's boy. Mothers are the best things that we have in life. They
Yeah,
are. unconditionally loving us at every single moment of every single step that we take in life. And a love like that, it really is hard to come by. You know, who can you say can love you unconditionally through your highs and low in life? It's your mom.
Yeah.
She will always be by your side. She will be there when you're sad, you're happy, you need advice, you've done something wrong, you've done something right. And that is something that no one can ever take away from you. So I understand where you're coming from. And it's not a bad thing to be a mommy's boy. So I'm sure your mom adores you.
Yeah, I mean, like, she is the reason that why I am into pageantry because she fueled that love of my pageants in my blood because she was the reason that why I started watching pageants. Though she does not watch pageant, but she was still the reason why I started following pageants. So I think that is the power and beauty of a mother.
No way. Well, look, that's something we have in common. My mom entered into pageants. She was a first runner-up in Miss Ireland, and she inspired my journey into pageantry. So when I see you in India, I'll be able to have a proper conversation about that with you for sure.
That that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Definitely.
So we have the last question for you, and I just hope, pray that you will get the chance to answer this question if you enter top 5 of Miss World this year's finals. So the question is, why should you be the next Miss World?
um, I would love to be the next Miss World because it obviously provides such a powerful platform to advocate for change and also particularly in the areas of education and equality. But I believe that my role as a public figure should be more about working than representing beauty. It should be about using my position to advocate for the rights of the underprivileged and all the inequalities that I have faced throughout my advocacies and hoping to bring a change to them. My whole Beauty with a Purpose project is based on dreaming and education, and I hope to plant the dreams that I once had into other children who don't have the ability to dream. And that would be what I would hope to bring as a Miss World. Yeah.
It's a winning answer, and this would have been the winning answer for this year's edition of Miss World if you went top 3 or top 5.
Thank you so much. You're very sweet.
All right. So we're done with all the questions from our side. Before we end this live, we have one last segment, and that is what if you win? So what I'm going to do right now, I will announce this thing that Miss World 2025 is Ireland, and you have to give your winning reaction. Like, how will you react on
Honestly,
stage?
to be quite honest, I will probably be crying, looking for my mom and dad, being like, guys, we did it. They have been in this journey with me just as much as I have been in this journey. And without my parents, I could achieve nothing in this life. And I'm so grateful for them and to them and for everything they do. They are my rock, my guidance, my support. I adore them. So, yeah, I would probably be extremely emotional and somewhere in the crowd look for my mom and dad, which is probably very hard to find, but that's what I would do.
All right, let's do one thing. Let's just do an imaginary captioning of this thing. I will announce this thing that Miss World 2025 is Ireland, and you have to give your winning reaction. Like, how will you react on stage if you are
Just
on that
crying.
spot?
All of this tears running down my face. That's what's gonna happen. Definitely. God, if God blesses me with that, it will be an amazing day. But as I said, the journey has been impeccable. The people I've met, the charities I've worked with, the individuals who I hope to create change for, that is what I will never forget and I hope to only enhance as I go on in my life.
You will
Yeah.
surely do amazing things. You are a very strong candidate, as I said in the starting, and I can actually see like in all the hot picks you are in top 3 or top 5 or even the winner. That is the most amazing part that you are receiving love from all over the world, and that's the beauty of pageantry. They keep on combining the love from all over the world, even if it's not our own country, we still support that country's girl to win. And you are doing an amazing job in that. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you so much. And for me, when I first got started to get put into those topics, I was like, I remember saying to my mom, I was like, Mom, Ireland is like it's in there. Like they must have got it wrong. But the international support has actually driven me so much more to go for this and just trust in, whatever fate is ahead of me. But to know
Yeah.
that people I don't even know or people I haven't even met are cheering in my corner is something that I can never, ever, ever describe the feeling of. And I just want to thank every single person who is doing that. You are amazing. I see every single one of it. I hear you. Thank you so, so, so much. It means the world to me.
That's amazing, and we can't wait to see you in India for Miss World. And I hope that Glamour of Pageants could get the opportunity to stand in next to you and the crown on your head as Miss World. And then we can probably say this thing that we had the honor to interview the reigning Miss World.
Thank you so, so so much. And look, as they say in Arabic, maktub, you never know. But I'm sure I will find you in India somewhere. I will for sure, and we have to get a picture. You're an amazing person, and thank you so much for taking the time to interview all of us. It means the world to us. It's so amazing that we get to showcase our platforms and who we are online in front of all of these people. And you're a massive reason as to why those pageant pages exist and why we get support. It's because you give us the platform to speak. So thank you so much.
It's our pleasure, and we will see you soon in India. And all the best for Miss World. We hope that you will get the reward for your hard work. See you
Thank
soon.
you so, so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.